Welcome to the Misty Tales channel. This is a place to relax, to listen, and to let go of thoughts that don't want to come with sleep. Tonight, you'll hear a story that's not about rushing, not about arriving, but about the journey. Traveling on a train whose destination is not written on any board. The station was silent. Not one of those heavy silences, but one of those silences where everything is in place. The train was calmly waiting on the tracks. It was neither in a hurry nor impatient. The carriages were old, but clean. The windows were clear, and the seats were comfortable. A short whistle filled the space. Not loud, not alarming, just to say this simple sentence: "It's time to move." The narrator got on, not with a big suitcase, nor with a specific destination, just with a few silent memories in his mind. Inside the train, people were quiet. They were mostly watching, looking out the windows, their hands, or at an unknown point in front of them. The train moved slowly. No strong jolts, no annoying noises. A soft movement, like breathing. The narrator sat down on the chair. He leaned his back against the backrest, and for the first time he realized. The sign on the top of the carriage is empty. No city name, no route number, nothing. He smiled very faintly, as if this train wasn't going to take him anywhere. The train was going to show him something. If you like to hear more calm and continuous stories, you can follow the Foggy Tales channel. The train was approaching its first stop. A small, simple, but full of something that no one knew the name of yet. The train slowly slowed down, not with a sudden brake, not with a loud noise, as if it knew where it had reached. The first station. Not big, not crowded, simple, unassuming. The platform was short, a few dim lights, and a wooden bench. The train stopped. The doors didn't open in a hurry. Everything was done with patience. The narrator was looking out the window. A man was sitting on a bench. Neither old nor young, his age was lost between memory and today. Beside him was a small suitcase, neither new nor old, as if it had been with him for years. The man didn't get up. He wasn't waiting to get on, as if he had just come to see the station. The train blew its whistle again, and at that moment, the memory began. Years ago, same station, same bench. The man was younger. The suitcase was bigger, and the eyes were full of something called hope. A woman stood beside him. She wasn't crying. She wasn't smiling. She just looked. That day's train was supposed to take her, not just to another city, but to another life. The woman didn't say anything. The man didn't say anything. Some goodbyes happen in silence. The train arrived. The doors opened, and the man boarded. The woman sat on the same bench, and the train moved. Years passed. Now the man had returned to the same station. Not to leave, but to remember. His suitcase had become smaller, but heavier. He looked at the tracks, at the bench, and at the train that was waiting quietly. But this time, the man didn't get on. The train moved, and the memory remained. The narrator felt something heavier in his heart, neither sadness nor joy. Understand, this train does not move people. This train passes memories. The train moved away. The station was smaller, and the man was alone again. The narrator closed his eyes for a moment, and the train continued on to the next station. The train moved in silence for a while. No station, no sound, just the steady rhythm of the rails and the quiet breathing of the carriage. The narrator looked out the window. The landscape had changed. No city, no village. Somewhere in the middle of the road. The station sign appeared. Its letters were a bit faded, as if time had passed over it. The train stopped quietly. This station was quieter. No wooden benches. Not many lights. Just a platform and a gentle breeze. This time, no one was on the platform. Or maybe there was, but it wasn't visible. The memory began silently. Years ago, a girl was waiting at this very station. She had no suitcase, no ticket, only a letter in her hand. The letter was folded. The edges were a bit worn, as if it had been read several times. The girl was looking at the tracks, not with anxiety, but with a very calm hope. The train arrived, the doors opened, the people got off. But he didn't come. The girl held the letter tighter. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just waited. The train moved. The station was empty again. And the letter was never read. Years have passed. Now the same station, empty, silent. But if you listen closely, it seems like someone is still waiting. The narrator felt that some waitings never end. No, because nobody comes. But because a part of us always stays at the same station. The train moved slowly. The narrator understood. This train does not only carry past memories. This train also carries unfulfilled expectations. The rails slid gently under the train again, and the second station remained behind. The train moved in silence for a while after the second stop. But this silence was no longer heavy. It was as if something inside the carriage had become lighter. The light from the windows shone softer, not harsh, not tiring. The station sign came quietly, this time clearer, more legible. The station was small, but alive. A few people were standing on the platform. Not crowded, not scattered. Someone was drinking tea. Someone was talking quietly. The train stopped. The doors opened. A woman got on with a smile. Not in a hurry. Not hesitant. Her hands were light. She had no suitcase. Just a small bag and a confident look. The narrator realized this woman wasn't going anywhere. She had already arrived. The memory began quietly. Years ago, this same station, the woman had gotten off for the first time. Not for work, not for travel, to stay. A small house near the station, a window facing the tracks. He would wake up in the mornings to the sound of the train, and he would fall asleep at night to the same sound. The train was not a reminder of leaving for him. It was a reminder of life. Years passed. Now he would sometimes ride the train, not to escape, to see the route, and he would return to the same station every time. The narrator smiled very softly. He understood. Some people find their station, and some just pass by them. The train moved again, but this time, its movement was warmer. The rails were no longer alone, and the third station became a place in the narrator's heart. Not as a heavy memory, but as a place to stay. The train was now moving more slowly than ever. Not because he was tired, but because he was no longer in a hurry. There were fewer passengers. The carriage was quieter, and the sounds were quieter. The narrator felt that this route was slowly getting closer to somewhere. Not a station on the map, but somewhere inside itself. The windows reflected things, not just the view, memories. The stations were reviewed one by one in the narrator's mind. That man with the small suitcase, that unfinished wait, and that woman who had found her station. They were all still here, on this train. The narrator understood. None of them were left. They had all been resolved along the way. The sign for the final station was not yet visible, but the narrator knew. When the station has no name, it means that arriving is not important. The train was moving slowly, and for the first time, the narrator was not worried, neither about arriving, nor about not arriving. He was just following the route. The train was no longer moving slowly. It was calm, not because of fatigue, but because it had reached the right rhythm. The carriage was almost empty. A few seats, a few windows, and the monotonous sound of the rails. The narrator was no longer looking outside. His eyes were half closed, and the memories came uninvited. Not to stay, to pass. A calm sign appeared. It had no name, no number, only one station. The train stopped. The doors opened, but no one got off. The narrator understood. This station is not for getting off. It is for resting. The train moved again, and the narrator no longer looked for his destination. Got it. Some journeys are never meant to end. Some paths are meant to accompany, not to arrive. The sound of the tracks grew quieter. Breaths are more regular, and the mind is lighter. If the eyes slowly close, let them close. This train knows its route, and the memories have found a safe place. Night or day, it doesn't matter. Everything is calm here. If you like to go to a quiet story every night, you can follow the Foggy Tales channel. The train continues on its way, and you sleep quietly.